Welcome to Trading Lounge and the European indices for Wednesday, November the 30th, just starting with the BUND here and futures contract. So this whole move down here, we're on a monthly chart here by the by. I suppose one could look at it as an A wave, a B wave and a C wave down here. But there would still be another move to come down. So the 38.2% retracement level will take us back to the 15 here before coming down here. So this wave 3 here can be wave C at that point, unless we're going to be going down into a further move to the downside. So yeah, we can just look, but I think that we've got that approaching. So that's basically what I'm trying to say here, is that we can expect to see this retest the 15K area. Basically that's sort of where the this volatile move came into play here, and then we could drop again from that point. So that's the monthly chart. That said, so would the stock market continue up with this here and then roll over? That's what I'm trying to allude to as well. Let's just go to a weekly chart here and just drill in on this a little bit further here now. So we don't need all of that. So there's different ways. Obviously this is a top over here and we could look at it like that, but I think it was on one of the other cash markets we had this as the high. I've got to figure out what that was now anyway, but it doesn't matter. What the main point, I mean it matters, but not for the purposes of just shooting the breeze on this particular thing here. So we've got it's very clear we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, right? And then 2, and then 1 and 2, and 1 and 2, and 3, 4, 5 for third, fourth, fifth here for third. So coming back for the fourth here, and then moving down at that point. So I think this, you can see this is struggling a little bit, but on the weekly you can see this, turning up and doing its thing, and it seems to have a nice sort of flow with the highs and lows to a point. Obviously it's at the 14,000 at the moment, so it's going to vibrate here for a little while, but we'll just see at the end of the day if it becomes the support or the resistance. And when we look at this on the daily chart, just drilling in a little bit further, let's get a bit more data in now for this. Right, we can see the structure here already. We see the 5 waves here for 1 and 2 and 1 and 2, and then we've got this nice big third wave here with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's pretty easy, in the fourth and the fifth here. So we've also got 5 in here as well. So, but this low here is kind of interesting me on the daily chart. When was that? On Friday, October the 21st. When was this low here? October. So it was basically front running these onto, just comparing it to the DAX, we're really way we're on this sort of low area here. Okay, so I see what's going on. So it was about this one here, really. That was the low coming into the DAX. So that support coming in on this here. So look, I can see that this is impulsive on the daily chart. I can see that this is corrective. Because we get 5 waves here, it means we'll get 5 waves over here. We're seeing 5 waves over here. Well, I can see wave 1 here, and then it still needs to build up to finish off. So it's going to move higher. As I mentioned, it's vibrating around the 14. That's going to destroy the wave count a little bit, because large orders pull it to that largest number as such. But I'm just thinking that it should push up higher. And it can push up to this number up here. It's a long way away, I know that, but we'll just keep a bit of an eye on that. But yeah, so if that's going to push up, when you come and look at the DAX here, it's kind of interesting in the bigger picture here. From the top to the bottom here, this is the 61.8% that we're at now. So it's basically come in and touched on the 61.8%, and it's reacting from that. And there's a couple of different ways to look at all of this here, and I'll just want to have a look at that. We can see the stochastic sort of rolling over, but you can see how quickly the stochastics is coming down, yet the market hasn't moved that much. So it's kind of telling me it's corrective in that sense. Now, in terms of looking this to the upside, we can look at it as corrective as an A and a B, and then we'll have to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here for wave 3. So that wave 3 here could be wave C of B at that point, as well as wave 3 there, so to speak, and then wave 4 over here if it was going to be more bullish. So we could basically expect this to have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 here. So from 4 to 5, that's kind of a nice range here. So looking at this wave 3 here, and then an A wave and a B wave and a C wave coming back to the 38.2%, which is around the 14,000 at that point. So that's what I'm kind of thinking. Now we know that if you watch the US video, the US indices, you can see what we're up against at the moment with that. So that would also need to be brought into the picture. So it's possible, because this first little move in here is a little bit tricky in how you include that into the wave count. So it is possible to have a bit of a top here, but we'll just look at it as a corrective move for the time being. And yeah, so I'm just going to cut, now that I've spent some bit of time on all of that, let's just cut straight through to, I think, 100 ticks, and we'll just look at that top in here. So we'll need to get in a bit more data. So this is this top here. So I'm thinking from the top here, right? We started on this yesterday, but we can see we've got little 5 waves here. So we've got wave 1 here, and that needs to be wave 2, obviously, but I haven't done that, so I'll do that. And then I can look at this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the third wave, an A and a B, because I don't have 5 waves in here. So an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave for wave 4, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here for those. So I've got a low in here. So I was looking for a possible rally at this point. So if I take it from this low here, that would bring us back up into, well, the 50-60% area, which is this one here and here. So just get that right, a bit lower actually. So I'll just put that in there. And so that means that we could have a top in here as an A and a B and a C wave. So we could have that top in here already. But if we don't have it there, then we have to, because this is an impulse wave, if we don't have that as a top, then we're going to be looking at 3, 4, and 5 here. Rightio. And we put that in there, 5. Now you can give me that. So let's just take a few things off we don't need. Don't really need those in there. Don't need that. What else is above there? Don't need that. Don't need that for the time being. Everything else is pretty clean. So yeah, I'm thinking that we'll have some sort of correction here with another move down at this point. That will bring us into the 14,000 roughly, which is the 38.2%. But there will be some sort of relationship between these two. If we do have a top in play, right, up here, if that's going to be because there's a case for that too. You know, when you look at the Dow Jones and a few of those sorts of things, you know, and we're seeing a fair bit of weakness in the tech sector. So, you know, Apple and Amazon and so on. So yeah, so this is sort of where we're looking at the moment with this. Let's just see how this plays out through here. Yeah, so looking for a little push to the upside there. Don't need that. Can be wave 1, but put wave A here for the time being, because I can't prove that it's a top in the market. We've got to be a little bit careful about calling tops in. So that's the DAX, and then over to the euro here. Now this is a little bit different here. I can count down here if you just follow with me for a moment. So let's just open this up a little bit here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, so that's nice and clean. And then the A, the B, and the C here, that's nice. and then we've got 1 and 2 and 3. I will go for wave 4 here, even though it's overlapped wave 1, you know, and then down here for wave 3 with an ABC for wave 4, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here for this. So this has really moved up here quite sharply. I could use that, but I'm probably better off putting it over here for this. So it looks like it wants to go pretty high really, because I could look at this here as the A and the B and the C wave here. So I'm thinking that we should push up here somewhere, but it's going to bring up pretty high. Did we actually cover that gap here on the futures? Yep, we covered that gap, so it might not need to go that point there. Obviously, taking this low out here would be the short trade, but I just think there's a bit of upside here as well. So that if you're going to trade long, then you want that 39.50 as the support. Okay, so keep an eye out for that. That looks. I mean, I could go the A wave, the B wave, and the C wave here because that's in 5. But you know, I could also look at that as 1 and 2 here, and then 3, 4, 5 coming up here. So yeah, I'm thinking we've got this impulse wave here. That's okay, and I think this is part of a corrective pattern here. But how to label it correctly, because that could be an A and a B and a C in here, but it doesn't really matter. It's an A wave, an A, B, C. It's not a very good B wave here either. But yeah, because based on that 5-wave structure, we should sort of have a correction and then down again. But we've got the correction. But this sharp move here is not quite enough for that. But that would be the short trade. You could probably get a bit closer to that actually. So if you took on this move here, that's at the 61.8 at the moment here. So that means that if I was going to short it, then I'd be looking at the 61.8, which is just below the 40 there. So if the 40 became the retested resistance, then I would look to short it at that point. But I'm going to remove that now and remove that because I've got too many objects on the chart. So we're kind of expecting it up a bit further. Yeah, so same deal with the DAX as such, same pattern. And the FTSE here is looking quite good because we were looking at this as wave 3 and 4, and I think we were just here yesterday. So double tops don't really end the trend. So, but it's taking shape quite nicely now, because now we've got this wave 1 and 2 in here, nice strong 3rd wave up here and a 4th wave in here. So the length of wave 1 here could be roughly a bit of a guide stick for wave 4. So we could end up at a little bit higher up here for that. So in a way that will give us the first high above the level at that point. And then we'll see it correct at that point. And that really accounts for everything. So we could look at it as wave 3, or we could look at it as wave C as a top there. But if it's a wave 3, then we can look at a wave 4. So it's kind of lagging the other markets a little bit. So that would come back down into this space, but we might be able to get a classic trading levels pattern across here, the arrival, the reaction in 3 waves, 5 waves for the first high above the level, the A, the B and the C wave over here. So we might be able to find a long trade over here for this. We did trade up through all of this a bit in bits and bobs, didn't we? So but that's, yeah, I wouldn't rush into that, because it'll be like that 5 waves up there is this one here, you know. So we've got the arrival, the reaction in 3 for 4 and up for 5 and ABC. So we need it over here or in here somewhere for that. How's the F250 going? I like to keep a little bit of an eye on that. Not that it's the end and B end of all, but here we go. Right, so yeah, because I was just, you know, as we talked about this before, we were looking at, just remove these a bit. So I was sort of looking at, just get rid of that. I was looking to get 5 waves up here, and I can see that we got wave 1 and 2 here, and then probably wave 1 and 2 in here, and then still building in here into the 3rd wave. So we've still got, by the looks of this, we've still got, you know, this to go, this to go, this to go, at least something like this, you know. And if we get 5 waves here, that means we're going to get 5 waves over here for that. But I don't have 5 waves here just yet, so this could all just fail from here. Do you know what I mean? We could end up with 3 waves. I don't know. We don't have 5 yet, but that's what we're basically looking for. We're just going to see if we can get 5 waves out of this. So just keeping an eye on it. No sort of biggie, but I mean, it does appear that we've got 5 waves here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, you could probably do it differently, but I think that's quite a nice fit, really. I mean, it's a bit wonky and wobbly, but I don't really see anything really wrong with it. You know, I know that you could label it in different ways, but this would be a way that would be probably the better of the better of the worst out of the bunch, so to speak. But if we do get 5 here, that's going to be interesting, because then we'll get a correction. We'll get another 5 over here. So that, what does that mean? That's going to take FTSE 100 into new highs, isn't it? You know. And also the DAX and so on. So it's kind of a bullish sort of thing, really. That's the FTSE there. So, okay, over to the currencies. So last time we spoke with this in the Euro video, we would have looked at this as wave 1, and we still can. I'm just shooting the breeze here, and wave 3 here, and looking at wave 4 here, and then we're looking at wave 5 here. Now, we didn't make a new low here, but we had 5 waves in this move. So we've got a couple of things here, is that one of the things that always sort of haunted me was this particular move down here, because I don't want to put the B wave all the way over here. I could do that, but I don't have 5 waves here. You know, I could look at this as the A wave here, the A, and then an A, and then a B, and then a C, but it doesn't really play out like that. It's more like a WXY, but that's okay too. But I can put this here because this is in 3 waves here, and it's a very typical sort of wave 2 or wave B in that sense. So we could look at it, you know, we've been looking at it like this, but we may have to put it back over here for this, as put it up here for this. I don't know. I just need to gather some more information at this point, and that's all we're doing at this point, because we had a good run on this, in that we had the first 5 here, and then we looked at the next 5, and then looked at this as the correction, and then the next 5 here, not making a new low, but we expected a bounce at 38.2%, and the wave 4 of 1 lesser degree, and the 105 or 10,500 on a CFD platform. If we look at this here in terms of the 2K tick chart here, then this is how we've had it, with wave 3 here, wave 4 here, and then wave 5 coming down here of C or 4. Now, I don't know if that's C or 4, if that's actually in thing here. We didn't make a new low here. So I start to think to myself, well, we didn't make a new low here. Is it possible to look at all of this as wave 1 here, and then have this as an A and a B and a C here for wave 2 here, and then come down here at that point? And in coming down here, you know, because while the S&P 500 is correcting at the moment across 4,000, and the DAX is correcting, and the STOXX 50 and the currencies are correcting. So what about if this is an ABC pattern here? I mean, we've got 5 waves in here. I've already checked that on the 100 tick chart. And here we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, a little bit more of a movement to go up here, and that will be the 61.8%. So we'll just see how that plays out here. You know, if this is breached at this point down here or close to that, then we'll know this is an ABC, and we're going to come down for a 3rd wave here. That's one option. The other option is that if it keeps pushing up here and pushes the currencies the other currencies down, then we might need to put that wave 4 here over here for that. It is possible that we can have the low in here, but I would want to see 5 waves from here. Just remove this for a moment. I would want, if I was going to call that low in here, right, I would want to see 5 waves to the previous wave 4 here, and not 3 waves like this here. That could build up here to that point. So that will be the difference. If I get 5 waves here for wave 4, then I'll know I'll get a correction, and then get another 5 further up at that point. So that would be my first basis for calling the low in. But we're far from that at the moment. When we got down here, we knew we'd have a bounce, and now we just got to see what it is, you know. and it's looking a bit sluggish off this one here. It happened quite quickly here, and then a bit sluggish on this one here. You know, I think Xi came out and talked about you know, had a bit of a speech yesterday, and you know, the Hang Seng was up, and Australia was up, and resource stocks were up, and you know, so it was a good day. He was opening up a little bit. So yeah, let's just see how this plays out here a little bit. Yeah, so anyway, look, I guess once we've got 5 waves here, and then anything above the 5 waves, that would take us higher at that point. So we just need to go step by step at this stage. But that's the dollar. So what we've got with so if we look at that whole pattern, you know, for that whole move down for the US dollar, well then this is the whole move up for the euro, and the pound's the same as well. So this whole move up here, you know, it looks you could probably force it to be like wave 1 here and 2 here and 1 here and 2 here, but it, you know, it's very messy in here, you know, and this as an impulse wave here is not the best. The wave 3s it's okay, the wave 3 in terms of length, but wave 4 overlaps wave 1 here a little bit. Is that a big deal? Yeah, eeny, meeny, miny, mo for that one. But the whole structure at this point is not a fantastic impulse wave. Now, this move up here is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 up here. Now, that's a nice move at that point, you know. So we could have it as an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave for wave 4, and that, you know, that US dollar index may have a low in after all, but we would need to see the 102 here actually become the retested resistance. That would sort of convince me that we got a top in. But while that's not the case, then we can move up, you know. You know, I'm looking at other markets like the yen here, which also looks like from the top over here, you know, the reverse, you know, of this top here is this bottom over here type of thing. So in here we also don't have a nice impulse wave down here. I could go 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 here, fair enough, but it's more likely an ABC here for the A wave, a B wave, and 1 and 2 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the 3, 4, and 5 here. And we've got a low in place. So I'm just checking out what's going on here with this. So it's possible to have that low in place. It's possible to have this high in place here. But if the DAX is going to go higher, then the euro is going to go higher, you know. But there is a lot of problems in Europe, and I don't understand the credit market in Europe, and I don't understand the inverted yield curves that are occurring at the moment in these markets. So there's a lot in the bigger picture I don't understand. I can only help with you know, understanding the trends and the patterns and the corrections in certain things. And at the moment, we're at a point where we've got the A, the B, and the C, and that can be a top there, you know, based on the yen and based on the US dollar. That's possible, but I don't really have any strong evidence that, you know, I've got this little impulse wave to the downside, so that's something, you know, but I don't know, like a lot of the other markets with the DAX and the S&P 500, we've got wave 4 over here. You know, are we in some other type of correction here with, you know, we've got wave 1 here and 2 here and 3 here. Are we in some sort of A wave, B wave, C wave, D wave, and an E wave here for wave 4, and then push up at that point? You know, are we, is that what we're, you know, are we something like that? I know that with the trading levels at major trading level 1 here, then we've got group 1, which is 1, 2, and 3. And I know that when the market's trading above 103 here, like playing around up here, if it comes back down and finds the number 2, 1, 2, and 3, if it finds a 2 as the retested resistance, then I know that it gets pulled back to this number at that point. So I know that. But while it's staying above that 102, I've always stayed bullish in the trading, you know, using the trading levels. You know, it is a game of support and resistance, and so, you know, that is possible. I don't have a nice clear 5 waves down here just yet, so let's just chill on this one a little bit, and it'll be the same for the pound as well. We'll come to this here in a moment, but it's the same here as well with this move up here. It's difficult to count up as 5 waves up here, that's for sure. So there's problems with this too. It's not to say that we can't have a low in. It's starting to give a nice little 5-wave structure here for this, so that's all good. Once again, I was trying to get 5 waves down here, but you know, I could probably look at this as being 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 for 1 and 2 here. But the wave 4 is overlapping here, so I can't really put that wave 4 there. That's the wrong thing to do. And then if I've got that overlap there, the only other way I could look at it was 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 here, and then, you know, keep on moving down at this point. But I know that the S&P has to rally shortly into the S&P has to rally back to the 4,000, not straight away, but you know, in the next session it might drop a little bit first and then move in. So there could be a bullish move here. So we might need to take this back over here and look at this as wave 1 here, and 2 back over here, and 3 over to here, and wave 4 over here in some way, because we've got those overlapping wave structures, and then wave 5 up here. I could drop this, we had this here yesterday, we could drop that down to this point here now. You could probably drop it to here. In fact, what you could do to go, if I was going to go long, I would be looking for, I'll just make it simple and put the first high above the level. So a bit like this here, once you got the first high, I mean, we could use this one, but it's always, you know, you can use that one, but it's always best to use a fresh one. So once you got that first high in, then you can go down on the top here on this one, and then later on you can go down to the next one, and then you can go down to the next one here, those 3 there. But you need to do that over here, start from the top and then move down at that point. And once you get triggered in, then you'll be on your way at that point. So I'll just leave that there at this point. So yeah, that's that. I'll just see if there's any other way I can count this here. Yeah, I could build it up a bit differently. I could drop this down to this point, and I could put this over to here. And A, B, C, D, E here still left the same, isn't it? I'll just keep it in tune with the other markets at the moment, but I can see that it can be viewed differently. So yeah, I can't call a short trade, you know, because if you're going to call a short trade in against a strong trend like this, then you know, you've got to be pretty sure of what you're doing. And I don't see a nice impulse wave. It could turn into an impulse wave. It could be down for 1, back for 2, down for 1, back for 2, down for 1, that kind of thing, building further down here. But I just don't think it's the case. I think we'll end up moving a little bit higher in all of that. Anyway, that's that. That's just something else. That's no, don't need that. I'm going to just remove these now because I've got too many objects on the chart. I want to put this back. So yeah, so there we go. I won't turn bearish on this until, you know, until we got 102 here, or I've got a nice impulse wave to the downside, and don't really have that just yet. It's possible. Plausible, but I don't have it yet, so I'll just leave it at that at the moment. Yeah, alrighty. Thanks for tuning in. Cheers.